What's up, everybody? It's Devontae. I'm back with a pretty interesting one today. Conveniently, I have my hair down for it. Could anybody cut their hair for a job? And I can't really speak on anybody, but I'll tell you what I would do. And short answer, no. Short answer is no, but and then I take myself back and I finish it off with no. Because I used to think that there was a price. To give you a little background, I used to work at a popular chain of grocery store in the southeast that is not Walmart for about a year and a half, a little past a year and a half. They had no issue with me having long hair. I mean, rightfully so. I had just graduated. I had the job while I was in high school and I had graduated. Still didn't want to go to college yet. And so I had this long hair. It was a ponytail, but we were talking about groceries, so you want to have it kept up. And I was a bagger initially, then I became a stalker, overnight stalker. The store manager leaves and we get a new store manager, older white guy who was the manager. And I say that shouldn't matter because it really doesn't. And mind you, I went overnight to do stalking to help them out. So this was something that was not on my own volition. They had asked, and I did this to help them out. So this is gonna tie into the idea. Trust me, just stick around. Do that for about 2 months, and around month 2, he pulls me into his office one day after an overnight shift and starts to complain about the fact that I have long hair. Well, long story short, obviously, I'll be 26 this year. 7 years later, I'm not there. I ended up leaving like a week later because he kept pulling me in the office to harass me about cutting my hair. Initially, it couldn't touch my collar, so I had braided it up in a way that it would never touch my collar again. And then eventually it became, hey, we just need you to cut your hair. I tried to negotiate that with him, and he did not want to see eye to eye. After seeing people at the VP level that have long hair, managers that have long hair, I now understand as a 25-year-old that it's completely dogmatic. It's archaic, not only in the sense that it's for order and cleanliness, clean cut and the same. That is some type of psyop. I don't know if this was always the case, but at some point, corporate America became militarized. And a lot of these guys are actually ex-military. So it's a lot more dogma involved. Here's my issue and why I say nowadays that I would say no, and I used to think the answer was but for the right dollar sign. One, where does it end? I get culture fit, but that has some gray areas. I think it's gray to begin with because I think it's solely behavioral. How do you handle behavioral situations and are you hygienic? Simple. And where does it end? When a haircut is not considered professional, what about it makes it not professional? Is it the fact that our counterparts cannot have the same hairstyles? So we get into a sort of conversation like that. What makes a person an individual and how much of that is acceptable in a company? Do you want individuals working at your company or do you want cogs at your company? And so my answer has slowly changed into my answer is no because I think it's dogmatic. You can't tell me why it's not professional. Now, I'm not arguing in defense of pink, things that aren't natural. I'm not arguing in defense of that because that's just not something I have. But for the hair that I have, that naturally grows from my head the way that it does, what is a objectively verifiable answer as to why we don't want people to have varying lengths of hair in certain fields? Now, when we're talking about office work, let's be so fucking for real. Like a lot of the reasons that they try to give us, I think it's a crock of shit. And yeah, after seeing VPs with literal ponytails, it's popular and in style now that other groups of people are doing it. And it was always, let's be completely honest, catered towards certain demographics of people. And then we can get into a separate conversation. Okay? Now, ultimately, a company can turn you away for whatever reason they see fit. It's a bit biased, but it's the truth. And I think all humans suffer from this to some degree, some implicit bias. But from what I've seen, the men who have the most issue with it, I've been a pretty boy all my life, okay? The men who have the most issue with hair just so happen to be, from my travels, I take this as an anecdote, guys who cannot grow long hair. They have subscribed to a level of programming, dogmatic programming, that says long hair is not professional nor manly. So you're getting your personal ideals mixed in business, and that's not good for business. And so we can talk about character, that's completely different. But when you look past that to my physical appearance, as long as it's kempt and hygienic, and you say different is not good for business, I don't think that that's a good place for me to begin with. Okay? Because how deep do we take that? How deep do we take that? Do we take that as different religions can't come here? Well, obviously that's a protected class. Hair isn't. But how much of your hair is associated with your identity from a perspective? Let's say you're Native American or Hispanic, and you have those roots that cherish long hair. That's a question that I posed to him. Like, at what point is it considered bias or discrimination? And it's not a question that he could produce an answer for. And I don't think any of you can. Because, like I said, when we look at it from an analytical point of view, what is the objectively verifiable reason as to why this would not be good for business, other than implicit biases in the people that you do business with? And in that, I would have to tell that employer no for any amount of money. We'll cut this hair on a Tuesday. And so some people would ask, why not just cut it for the job? And to that, I would have to answer, if you have to compromise on something that is naturally occurring in you, not talking about keeping it kempt and clean, I mean completely get rid of it for a job. And it's because it was never about the hair. Let's be very clear. What it's about is, how far can this needle be pushed? And what exactly do you care about? Proof about why this would interfere with my level of productivity. You can't. You can't produce an answer. You can come up with an answer. It's not going to be verifiable, other than implicit biases in how things are seen. It's all optics. They can't produce an answer for you. I'm solution based. I like to try and find answers. I cannot produce an answer for you as to why hair would interfere with any one of those things, other than bias. You need to go with the next candidate. Thank you for your time. I don't know, though. You tell me.